Todd Hart, sailing with Team Royal Blue, and also known as Team Cat Fever. This is my third Tybee 500, or fourth. I don't know, my memory's not so good anymore. But distance racing catamarans to me is about the funnest thing there is. It's like an addiction, and I just keep coming back for more. No matter how many times I do it, no matter how many times I get beat up and broken, and we just keep on going, and it's fun. It's a blast.
Todd, you and I go way back. We go back to the 1,000 days, and we've been on many beaches, many nights. I'm not asking for a comparison, but what I want to do first is that we want to reach out to other sailors that would like to find a stepping stone type of race or what have you. In the meantime, while we're trying to create a race that's a stepping stone, we still want to make it a difficult race, not to the point to where we can't control the weather. But introduce your crew member over here.
This is Jeff Lasapio.
And Jeff, have you done this race before?
This is my third race.
This is your third race.
I did the first one, and I've done it the last 2 years.
This is the first time you guys have been together?
No, we sailed last year.
You sailed last year.
Second time together.
Any comparison or difference? Take your first day of last year or your first day of this year, and
polar opposites.
Yeah, absolutely.
Last year was great. Second to the beach, beautiful the whole day.
Yeah, absolutely.
And this year the race threw everything it could at us the first day.
The race has thrown everything it could at us every day.
ran over a boat the first day, broke a spinnaker pole.
Hit a coral head, blew a dagger board up, bounced the mast off the bottom today.
Turtle. We both learned how to unturtle a boat today in the ocean.
And last year, in comparison, was a sled ride, cakewalk. Well, there were some light air days that were tested your patience, but it wasn't as grueling by any stretch of the imagination. This year came out of the hole with on the nose and heavier conditions. But
and that's why you do the race. In buoy racing, it's pretty much the same thing, up and back, up and back. In this race, you have diversity the whole time. The challenge, the wind, the sea, the weather. You got to keep everything together and keep it together for 6 days, and it's a challenge every day in the adversity. And somebody asked me on the beach the other day, do you do this? Is there a cash prize? No. Is it for prestige? Not really.
Not for us, anyway.
For a sense of accomplishment and be able to do something, feel good for a week.
What would you, how would you, if you were telling somebody about this race and trying to convince them that, man, you need to do it, what's the first thing you would tell them?
It's a challenge, and you don't get challenges. It's a good physical and mental challenge in the sense that
with some of the most incredible scenery along the way that you'll ever see.
And it's a community. I mean, at this point now, the community spilled over from the 1,000, and now it's Tybee community. People come to it. Some of the best friends you get. You see them once a year.
The camaraderie is incredible. It's a great group of people. Everybody, even your hardest competitor. If he breaks something and he doesn't have it, you give it to him. You don't want him sitting on the beach. You want to be racing him. And it's amazing that, we'll go 500 miles up the coast. Last year, Jake Cole, who's Team Sea Cats, he's a good buddy of mine. He and I are just as competitive as we can get, but we're best friends. And he finished 4 minutes behind us. And 4 minutes and 500 miles over a whole week.
So we saw a lot of him.
It's pretty competitive sailing. Jared, Son and Clar is the same way. We race neck and neck almost all the time.
Yeah, Jared was over here being the new bloods or the young bloods in this race.
Well, he's getting now. The age doesn't matter. He's got some years under his belt now with it.
He does. The experience is coming when he goes back and talks about it.
And that's a great thing to see. Like in the last couple of years, a lot of 20-somethings in this now.
But on the flip side, I was talking to Steve Lohmeyer yesterday, and he said we ought to do a seniors division. It got me thinking about it. He said over 40 for the seniors division. And if you actually divided it up right now, it's pretty much the college division and the senior division, because there's a whole lot of over 40 guys doing this too.
And I think how far we go back and how far Steve and I go back is we're probably going to have to provide handicap parking on the beach for you boys.
You got to get some of those rollies wheelchairs.
Anything you want to add to it? If anything you want to say to anybody, it's pretty much from the hip.
Well, like we were talking about the camaraderie thing, it really is one of the best bunch of people. The funny thing is, where I live, there's not a whole lot of catamaran sailing. I'm from the Outer Banks of North Carolina. Jeff's from Herndon, Virginia, up near Northern Virginia, near like Baltimore. And there's not a ton of catamaran racing up there, so most of these guys I get to see one time a year, maybe twice a year it's in another race. But generally it's almost like a reunion to see everybody, and then to race against them is even funner. I mean, it brings out the best in all of it, I think. And I mean, it's an experience, not necessarily just a race.
Todd, you and I go way back, and we love to shoot barbs at each other and what have you. And thank goodness for you
You're
and
my
I.
sparring partner.
Yeah. Good thing you and I only see each other once a year.
Well, it takes me a year to save them up for you.
Guys, I appreciate your time, and we're to get this on and as soon as we can, and we look forward to having you back. I want to see you finish. I want to see you. You finish at what your ability and what your boat will do, and just give us your best day on the water, and
we're still working on that.
And then you've given us a good race.
Well, Chuck, I'd like to thank you for putting it on every year.
I'd like to thank you for participating.
Through thick and thin, I appreciate it.
You bet. Come back. Take care.